anybody who's live with us right this moment and second, I'm complaining about the new Zoom interface. We were talking about it earlier, Amanda and I, and it's just like, I think somebody just needed like job security or something to like change the app, because I'm like,
yeah,
it was just fine the way it was. So anyways, I will, I'll digress from complaining too much.
Well, the next update will be AI generated. Okay.
Oh, God, don't. No, I'm too old. I think that's maybe when I retire. Retirement comes. It's just like I'm too old. As for an old lady, I think I've like kind of gone with the flow on a lot of this stuff and learning all this to come out and do this, but I might have my limit. That might be my mic drop with the AI stuff. Might have to be one of those. So as you can see, Andrea's in a different location today. She's out in the wild, literally the wild, but in a bar.
Well, yeah, I am outside of Distant Brewing Company in Mammoth Lakes, California, just down from my campground, our little camping spot in up against a beautiful mountain and an aspen grove with McGee Creek just flowing like crazy from all the snow melt. It's been really great, but I did want to talk about one book with you guys today.
Exactly. So we're going to let Andrea came in first anyways, Julia. So there's that. But we're going to let Andrea go first, and then we're going to let her go and continue her wonderful vacation and have a drink on us for this. So
yes, I'm drinking a beautiful dry Irish stout right now, and it's really good, and it's low alcohol, so that's also good.
Well, okay, there's that, like, because in altitude, alcohol gets you a little bit more.
Yeah, everybody's a cheap date at altitude, as I like to say.
I like it. All right, let's hear about the book you wanted, because I think this book is one that Amanda loves. I got to sit with the author at Winter Institute. It is amazing. So let's go.
Yep. We're excited. Okay, I wanted to talk about this gorgeous book, Prophet. This is by Helen McDonald and Sin Blaché. Helen McDonald is, of course, the best-selling author of H is for Hawks, and Sin Blaché is a debut novelist. They wrote this while in lockdown period, sending each other back and forth, sending what they've written. And that is crazy, right? That is very crazy. And as will someday, I think, become legendary, they swear that there's some passages they don't know who wrote what, okay? And I'll tell you what, like, just reading this book, you would not know. It's completely seamless. You do not know that it's like, basically it's been written by two people who couldn't even be in the same room together to write this, which is such a great backstory right there. So, like, that will draw you in. Just about, what's this book about? Well, this book is a definite genre-defying tour de force, if ever there were one. And it's also a love letter to genre, so, which I love. So the story is basically about two young men who've known each other through their work in intelligence. One is an ex-M16 agent. He's been fired because he's got an addiction problem. And the other is pretty much, I guess he's like an unflappable and stoic American intelligence officer who no one can get a read on. Now, the M16 agent has this uncanny ability to know if somebody's lying and know if something is the truth or not. And that's why the M16 hired him, even though he was an addict and kind of a loose cannon, right? But he cannot read the American intelligence officer at all. Does not know if he's lying or not. A little bit of a romantic longing develops. The M16 agent likes the American intelligence agent, even though there's no real, you can't read the guy, right? And he doesn't know if he's gay or straight, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they get thrown together in a very dangerous situation where the world is suddenly gets thrown out of balance because of the introduction of a strange agent called Prophet, where people who take it suddenly are able to manifest their nostalgic memories. And things start showing up in weird places, like an American diner in the middle of a field in the UK, after somebody took this agent and just loved his time in the United States. These sorts of things starts happening. And it's sort of a race against time, because this agent Prophet starts to hurt people, and weird things happen. Monsters are showing up. It's really crazy. So I don't want to go on too long about this. I'm sorry that's like the longest plot development I've ever talked about on this. I think I'm not one for that, really, but it's like one of those books that you sort of have to know this going into it. But it's so beautifully rendered. It's very cohesive, considering like how crazy the plot line is. It's kind of like Ursula K. Le Guin meets like Stranger Things in many ways. I guess would be a good way to talk about it. But let's hear what Literary Hub said. This is a good quote. I had heard Prophet accurately described as a genre mashup, blending the best of techno-noir, dystopian sci-fi, and espionage procedural with a dash of queer romance. And while it is all those things, at its heart, Helen Macdonald and Sen Blanchet's tightly wound yet somehow tender mystery sci-fi thriller is a philosophical novel. What is life without mystery? And at what point does nostalgia grow so strong it derails our lives? Wow. Okay, that's great. That's perfect. And I really felt like after turning the last couple of pages that I've never read a book like this ever. It's got the makings of a modern day fable because of what it tells us, the warnings it gives us about where we're at in the world. When everything is like, no one knows what's true anymore. There's misinformation, disinformation, things happening, like just existential drama at every turn. And this book really like embraces that, all of those things to great effect. And I'm blown away by this book. It's I think that anybody who is afraid of sci-fi or fantasy, don't worry about it, because it's just it's literary as well. And it is so it addresses what we're facing every day, like with all the unknowns that our society and our species and the planet faces every day. And that's why this book is so interesting and exactly what we need for the times. And I know that Amanda's probably going to want to talk about this too. So
I was just gonna ask Amanda to give her 2 cents on it, because I know that she's a evangelist prophet on it.
Yes, she wrote a really great write-up for the Indie Next list, and this is an Indie Next list title. So all of the indies have a lot of love for this. And we also have signed copies available at Warwick. So I forgot to say that in my like ardor and like insanity over this book.
I love it. Amanda, give us your love.
Yeah, this is it's a book that I'm glad that Andrea gave a lot of the mise en scene, because it's hard to describe. It is a genre bender, but it's not just about the genre, even though the way it bends the genre is important to how the story is told. I could totally see it becoming a movie or even a TV series. The characters are all so good and so different. It reminded me a little of Twin Peaks and maybe like Twilight Zone. But again, it is also a literary book with really important themes, while also being just a joy to read.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that it's.
And this is
like...
the same Helen Macdonald that wrote Vesper Flights and H is for Hawk. So if you're a fan of those books, it's a really interesting turn for her to take, and proof that really fantastic authors are capable of doing completely different things just as well.
I muted you, Andrea, because of the background noise. There you go.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about. There's
That's
a little bit of beer bar music. It's really true that it's such a departure for her, but like she just shows like that she can write anything, and it's gorgeously written, and that's why I think that anybody, like if people like are like, oh, I don't read genre fiction, it is not a concern here, because I just think that she and Sim Blaché, her co-author, just nail it. So,
well, I have to ask you, Amanda, you got to tell the story of what you did to Helen at Winter Institute, or do you want me to tell it? Because Helen retold it at the dinner I was at.
Oh, let's hear the telephone version. I like that.
Because she knew that you were from Warwick's when did she know when you accosted her? Did you say that?
I don't know. maybe I shouldn't have let on. I don't remember.
Like, people were giving her love the whole bit, and then she says, I was actually quoted back to myself my book today on the elevator. And I just kind of went there and said, I think I know who that might have been. So
that's so great. And she's such a wonderful person. I had the opportunity and privilege to escort her around the Southwest to Santa Fe and Salt Lake City for events for H is for Hawk, and that was really amazing.
She is wonderful. She just is. So I hope that everybody, I don't think it's taking a chance. It's just dive into this. Just do it. It's just one of the books to just put on your list. Side of like we tell you to, we don't really steer you too far wrong on tea time. So just take Andrea's and Amanda's recommendation, and I think you'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I think it's a very special book.
So Andrea, I think we're gonna cheers, and unless you want to stay with us and listen, but I think cheers.
Thank you. It's a little bit loud. I don't want you to have to deal with that.
All right, well, have a good rest of your trip, and thank you for coming on and talking.
Yes, and you're in good hands with Julia. I know she's going to have a parcel of fine books. Absolutely. Bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye, Andrea. Thank you.
Andrea.
God, I love her.
I like Andrea on location.
On location, coming to us live from the mountains. Oh, and look who's
Can I start making myself cocktails?
Look,
look
who's coming in.
Kim.
Hey,
Mo is in the house.
I'm like trying to click all these things away.
I know. Okay. Is it it's the new thing, right? Which is driving.
Well, I got a new computer, so it took me a little while to figure it out, but here I am.
Well, you would have thought we planned this like intentionally, because we just let Andrea go, who was live on vacation, and then you come in to take her spot. So you would have thought that we like had planned this and like we're some like production company.
Okay.
We're not. And no, we did not. That's so actually Julia's gonna go because Julia's up, and then you're gonna be after Julia.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll disappear into the background.
No, stay on here with us.
Okay.
I like
please stay.
The 4 looks better.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. All right, Julia, what do you got for us?
Okay. My first one is called The Ghost Forest by Greg King. This is Racist Radicals in Real Estate in the California Redwoods. And it's about, in the 1980s, this push to save the Headwaters Forest in Humboldt County, which is basically was one of the last places of these like old growth California redwoods. We actually don't have a whole lot of old growth redwood forests left here in California. So some of them are very protected, they're national parks and stuff, but a lot of them aren't federally protected. So this is the story. Greg King was there with these protesters and people who were tying themselves into the trees and you know, trying to save this old growth forest. So it's a really great book about sort of success in not just environmental sort of you know, like success in environmental preservation, but also just success in like sort of political activism and stuff like that. It's a really great book. It's really well written. And for us here in California, I think a really important book. So,
and talk to me about the guy what's his name?
Greg King.
Okay, so he's the author of this. Okay,
he's the author, but he also was there. So he talks about he like it was the spearhead. He like spearheaded this movement.
Okay.
To save it's called the Headwaters Forest in Humboldt County.
Wow.
Up in way northern California. Yeah, and so he still lives in Humboldt County, and he's still an environmental activist, and he does a lot of sort of trying to protect the environment through political action and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's his book. It's kind of a memoir, but it's a lot of history of like sort of what happened.
And was he's an actor? Was he a journalist or anything, or what's his?
No, he's not a journalist. He's well, yeah, he is a journalist. Sorry.
Okay.
He is. He's a journalist and activist. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that lends itself to like the quality of writing that you're going to get with it. You know, totally. the way that he's going to tell the story to you, because it's like sometimes I think people are like, oh, but it's like, no, you got to dig in.
Yeah. He goes into research. He's an environmental journalist mostly. It seems just from his, I don't know a ton about him particularly, but he wrote has written for Sierra and Smithsonian and those kinds of magazines.
Got some chops behind him.
Yeah, exactly. So he's done a lot of writing about this kind of thing, and so this is just a really great book.
For the people in California, think about Christmas gifts for that person you don't know what to buy for. So we're gonna start. I know it's only August, but we're gonna start thinking about Christmas. We just are. Okay, Kim, it's been so long since we had you. I was going to actually ask you, it's like, are you getting tired of me sending your email? We're so glad you're here. Are you ready to go?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I better be, right?
Did you not hear anything about what I was just saying? Okay.
My first book.
Okay, wait a minute. We just spent 12 minutes talking about this.
Sorry.
I know, but we love, no. I'm not, but it's just extra love for this book.
Okay, extra super love. Okay, because I'm like a super lover. So so I guess you already know it's co-written by Cyn Blanchet, a first-time author, and Helen McDonald, the acclaimed writer and naturalist who wrote H is for Hawk and Vesper Flights, which are two of my all-time favorite books. And Prophet is, believe it or not, a spy thriller. Starring an ex-MI6 agent Rao and American intelligence officer Adam. They are tasked with investigating a very surreal diner that has just materialized in the middle of a field in the UK after a mysterious death. Their action-packed quest involves a shape-shifting substance called Prophet that weaponizes people's fondest memories against them. Favorite games, beloved pets, theme park rides all become increasingly malevolent, and Prophet, evolves, over time and becomes worse and worse. I'm not a big sci-fi reader at all, but maybe I should be, because this totally worked for me, because it's so close to reality, how our individual desires are being exploited by the technology and corporations we rely on more and more in our everyday lives, and even for our very existence. And this book examines the emotional and psychological power of nostalgia and its potential for marketplace manipulation and political manipulation, which is both fascinating and very, very scary. And the book also has a phenomenal romance. Okay. I'm a total sucker. And I absolutely fell in love with both Adam and Rao, and their banter is totally hilarious. And it makes the book so much fun. I could not put this down. I did not want this to end. I want there to be like a sequel, a series. I loved it so much. It's definitely in my top 5. It might be my favorite book of the year.
Wow.
I think
that's huge.
I think it appeals to a diverse audience, honestly. I mean, I'm certainly, not, I wouldn't say I'm the target audience, and I absolutely loved it. And I sent a copy to one of my sons, who's in New York, and he started it and is loving it too.
I love it.
Yeah. I cannot give this book enough love. I'm sure it's not for everybody, but if you like spy thrillers, if you like sci-fi, if you like kind of the tech world, and it's just, and a romance, I'm not kidding you. It's so good.
I love it. And I love that you didn't know that Andrea talked about it and Amanda talked about it a little bit, and you came on and talked about it, because that just goes to show everybody that's watching. It's like, I think this is a book y'all need to be paying attention to.
Well, actually, okay, inside scoop, Andrea and I knew that we were both going to present.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to give those secrets away.
I know, but I'm like here just to promote that book, okay?
I love it. I love it. Okay, Julia, what do you have next for us?
Okay, I have a music book for everyone. It's called Highways and Heartaches: How Ricky Skaggs, Marty Stewart, and the Children of the New South Saved the Soul of Country Music. So this is about Ricky Skaggs and Marty Stewart and their sort of like use of bluegrass music in the 1980s, and their reintroduction of a lot of bluegrass sounds to country radio in the 1980s. If you're a big fan of country music, I personally am. And I think that if you're not, it's because you're not listening to the right country music, because country music is just American music. And it's great. And so, this has a ton of great stories. These guys were touring with people like the Staples Singers. They were touring with these sort of like older acts at the time that had a sound that is such an American sound, but one that we weren't really hearing on the radio as much. And they really sort of brought that sound back into what we were hearing in country music. And so, this paves the way for sounds of women like the Dixie Chicks, or the Chicks now, but the Dixie Chicks. And like, some of the sort of more bluegrass country music that starts to pop up. And of course, sort of culminates with the Oh Brother Where Art Thou, bringing that the bluegrass back into the mainstream totally. So
that was such a good soundtrack.
That's a great soundtrack.
So good.
It's so good. But so yeah, for the music lovers, Highways and Heartaches, I spent the morning listening to some of these old albums from Ricky Skaggs and Marty Stewart, and man, it really got me through my emails this morning. So it's
one of those that takes you down the rabbit holes. You're gonna go down the music
like,
rabbit hole.
Put on this album. It was so good.
I love it. And there there's another, like, start thinking holidays, people, because I think that's another great one that has broad reaching. And I bet the stories are just awesome.
Great. I mean, these guys, they grew up, like a lot of country singers, they grew up in really rural, very poor areas, and sort of made their way, and so are recreating the music that they knew as kids that was being played at parties and on the porch and things like that, and sort of bringing it mainstream or back to mainstream.
Love it. And I love I just was at the state. It just sounds like an awesome book. All right, Kim.
Okay, it's me again.
Book number 2.
For number 2, I'm gonna do 2, but they're really short. Okay, because the first one, and then my last one, don't worry, it'll be short. My first one is Bad Summer People by Emma Rosenblum. And this was so much fun, and total beach read, total, like if you're on a plane read, total just fun. I'm treating myself read. If you liked White Lotus, it's a total book form of White Lotus, which I loved. And it takes place on Long Island. It's a bunch of families who get together every year for the summer on this little enclave, exclusive little enclave. And it's just hilariously funny, and you hate all the characters. And it's very Schadenfreude, but just super fun. So that's my first one. And then my second one is complete opposite. It's The Door-to-Door Bookstore by Karsten Henn. And I think it was translated from German. And Nancy told me about this. She listened to it, and actually I am listening to it, and it's delightful. It's like if you loved A Gentleman in Moscow, which is one of my all-time favorite books, and like The Midnight Library, that kind of feel-good book that's all about, you know, quirky humans and making connections. It's one of those books. It's just lovely. It's the opposite of the other one. You love all the characters, and, you know, it's just a happy, feel good book.
Yep. And I love Bad Summer People. And it's so funny but I've had people go, I hated that book. There wasn't one redeeming person. I said, and that's why I loved it.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't one person that you liked in that book. Not one.
Right. So, right. And that's the point. You know,
exactly.
So if you're, if
there is not one person you're going to grab onto and go, oh, there's going to be something. No, nothing.
Right.
They're horrible, but they're so delicious in their horribleness.
Yes.
It's so great.
Yes. And it's so fun to view their lives.
Yeah. They're so yeah. I love that book. And you're right. It's just that quick book. It's not going to change your life or anything.
Yeah. No.
Not change your life.
Well,
all right. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's the story of my life. No, I'm teasing. And don't read it for the mystery, because they talk about a mystery in it. Sucks. It's not about the mystery.
Yeah, that's not the point.
It's not the point of the book at all. So anyways, so there you go. Okay, Julia, what you got for us last?
Okay. This is just a little end of summer Southern California road trips guidebook from Moon Guidebooks. I mean, it is, as it says, a book of Southern California road trips, but it's really fun. It's got a lot of like fun little places to stop. It's got some desert road trips if you're going to head out to Joshua Tree or Anza Borrego or something like that. And then also it goes up to sort of San Luis Obispo is the farthest north, and down to San Diego. And these great road trips, and talks about, like, you know, going to Pappy and Harriet's to see live music, or going to, you know, some of these little places sort of out in the middle of nowhere. But if you need like a last minute, you know, we want to go do something at the end of summer, I highly recommend this book to figure out where you might want to go. That's not too far from home.
And I love like the little like nuggets, you know, that you might not know about. And it's just like, and the other thing is like Andrea, who's off drinking now on a bar somewhere, got us a little jealous. So this is a good way to end. It's like, plan your road trip too.
Exactly. Okay. It's got a whole page of breweries in San Diego. So
we could do a staycation here.
You could do a staycation.
Yeah. Worth the price of the book, right? Now we sell tons of those.
Yeah.
That's a great one. All right.
Does it rank the breweries or just?
No, it does not rank.
Okay.
I think it's up to you to rank them.
There you go. You go do it. Take an Uber.
Mission accepted.
Uber around and do your own taste testing.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted, Amanda.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, Kim, close us out. We're gonna be quick today. It's summertime.
Okay, it's let me find the photo.
Oh, you don't have to be quick. I just mean we're gonna be done in like a half hour. It's like record time for us.
I actually purchased this book, but I gave it to a friend. And I'm going to buy another one tomorrow, but I don't have it yet. So, but I read it already before I gave it to her. That's how bad I am. And it's Baking Yesteryear by B. Dylan Hollis, the best recipes from the 1900s to the 1980s. And if you're old like me, it's super fun to look at the ones that, you know, you remember from your childhood. And he's such a neat guy. I mean, you buy the book for him. He has like over 2 million YouTube channel followers. And he has such a fun background. He grew up in Bermuda, was studying jazz piano at the University of Wyoming when the pandemic hit. And he was all alone, bored, lonely. And one day he tried posting music videos and no one was interested. So one day he's always collected old things, and he had an old cookbook from an estate sale, and he started filming, you know, making recipes and filming them. And he was like an almost instantaneous like superstar. And it's because of his personality. He's just so delightful and quirky and funny. And the recipes are so wacky, and a lot of them are epic fails, but not all of them. And anyway, it's the funnest cookbook I've ever seen, both because of his commentary and because of the recipes themselves, which he describes and gives sort of the history and background of. But there's things like chocolate sauerkraut cake, tomato soup cake. What are some other ones? Just super fun. Chocolate potato cake, avocado pie, on and on and on. And then he includes, you'll have to look at these if you buy the book, but at the end, he has, so these are the best of the best. And then at the very end, he has a little section on the worst of the worst.
Oh.
And they are like, just the names are unbelievably revolting sounding. And so that was super fun. And it's got gorgeous photography. It's a fantastic gift book, but I can't wait. I'm almost done with a huge kitchen remodel. And I'm going to attack his cookbook first when we're done, because they're just so fun.
I love it.
And they range from incredibly easy, like all you need is a microwave and a spoon, to, more complicated.
I love it. And I hope he is not one of those YouTube guys who like will incite riots in New York if he's trying to give away like an avocado pie or something.
No, he's a very thoughtful guy. He's not,
I mean, that whole thing that happened in New York was a little cuckoo.
Yeah.
But it kind of reminds me back in the day. Julia, you've been in this business long. Do you remember when John Green did that at one of his, and it was a much smaller scale, but he did that at a book signing somewhere. Was it Texas maybe? I can't remember exactly. Mm-hmm. I don't remember where, but it was just like, but he kind of did this, hey, I'm going to be here. And I mean, obviously, hundreds of thousands didn't show up like they did in New York, but I mean, It would be it shows you the exponential growth of that power of the social media.
Yeah. Like, hello, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Well, and B. Dylan Hollis, like that's the #1 book in the country right now.
Is it really?
Yay!
Yeah, it's huge. And I follow him on TikTok, and he has been having these huge events all over the place. People are so excited about this book.
Okay, can you get him to come to San Diego, please?
I know.
We might not have any place big enough.
Talk to Tom.
Talk to Tom Benton.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we have any place big enough, it sounds like, for him.
Tom did talk about this book a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, and I said this then, but just to reiterate, like the joy on this man's face when those recipes go well.
Yeah.
Like he expects none of them to go well, and then when he tastes it, he's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is great.
Yeah.
It is like such a thrill.
Yeah. I highly recommend watching a couple of his YouTube videos. They're so much fun, and they're quick, Yeah.
Kim, have you tried any of the recipes yet?
No, I don't have a kitchen right now. I mean, I literally we have a burner and a bathroom sink that's in a college dorm little square refrigerator, and there's 3 adults living here. It's just been like hell. But no. Yeah, it's we're this close to being done.
Okay.
So yeah, and I love bringing treats to work, so I can't wait.
You do. You bring great treats to
So
work.
does
Everybody's
Julie.
lucky. Everybody's lucky with your treats.
So does
about
Julie,
the-
everybody.
Tomato soup cake. I'm curious.
I think he loves it.
I think it is a good. I think I
love,
remember
like,
that recipe from being like
Yeah.
from the 50s, and I think it's actually not a bad recipe.
Yeah. Somehow you can't taste the tomato and it deepens the flavor.
It's kind of like, I think the whole idea of like the carrot cake thing.
It's like rich. It makes it rich and like creamy kind of.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're not
So
gonna
Kim's
try it.
on here. She's loving the feminist takeover of tea time today.
So am I.
Us
Yes.
too. That's right. That's right. We got some good Rex. We love our dudes. We, you know, Gabe and Tom
We'll keep
are
'em.
awesome. And
We'll
Steve
keep
are
them
good.
around.
But sometimes it's kind of fun to have some girl power.
Yeah.
I just finished Kala, which we talked about, I think,
Oh,
last
yeah.
week. So good. Hard, tough, tough subject. I mean,
Yes.
it's so, but man, he's somebody to keep your eye on, that Colin Walsh. And he's not bad on the eyes either, I might say. So just there. And I'm reading Tom's The Displacements right now. And so that's really good. Sort of the same thing of Prophet, where it's like this stuff can happen. And it's the one about the Category 6 hurricane and being sent to a FEMA camp and what happens in that when you've had all this privilege and then when that privilege is taken away. So anyways, yeah, he's promotable, Beth. You're right. He's very promotable. So all right, everybody. Quick one today, but lots of more good books. And hope you're staying cool wherever you're at. And we will see you all next week for some more good books. So Kim, thanks for coming in. Julia, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And Amanda,
Thank
thanks
you.
for staying on.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, see, they changed everything.